A Christian horror movie? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cinema Sermons. My name is Kevin. And first off, let me go ahead and address the black eye. I'm a high school wrestling coach, man, and I practice mixed martial arts, so it happens from time to time. It probably won't be the last time you see me on this channel with a black eye, but it is what it is. I didn't go run out and get into a fight or anything. I didn't get beat up. Man, like, it's just, I'm a wrestler. It happens. Anyway, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the movie Nefarious. And not so much a Christian horror movie, this movie is actually more of a Christian psychological thriller. And if you're unfamiliar with the story, what the story is there is a killer on death row portrayed by Sean Patrick Flanery who claims he's not guilty per insanity via demonic possession. So they bring in a psychiatrist to evaluate him and see if he's actually crazy or not, and then the rest of the plot unfolds. So, starting off with my positives, the first positive I have to give is to Sean Patrick Flanery. I know him from the Boondock Saints. He's an experienced actor. He did really well in this movie. He's by far the strongest actor, and the performance that he gives as this demon-possessed man is really good, because as the demon that is speaking, he's very calm, he's collected. He does this kind of twitch thing with his face, which got a little bit annoying, but not so much that it took away from the performance. And then as the man that was possessed, he did a really good job of playing that different character. It was more like a little kid who had been taken advantage of, and he was scared and afraid, and the voices were different, the way they spoke was different, how they moved and acted was different. So for Sean Patrick Flanery to be able to do that with that character, I thought he did a phenomenal job. He should be praised for his performance in this movie. The next positive that I have is the concept. Now, this movie does a lot better in concept than it does in execution. The idea to have a film that is somewhat of a psychological thriller or a supernatural thriller to draw in a non-Christian audience and then give them the gospel, that's a good idea. But it did fall a little short. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I thought it was a really good concept. I thought it was a good story for the most part. I thought it was a good concept. I thought it was something that we could have expanded on, and I really wish they would have. I thought it was a good concept, and I applaud the filmmakers for reaching out, trying something different, stepping out of their box. I think it's a concept that should be re-explored. I think it can be really well executed. But yeah, the concept was good. Getting into the negatives, man, this movie needed to really figure out what audience it wanted. Was this going to be a movie that targeted Christians and wanted to tell Christians things they already know, and maybe give them like a little bit of like a spooky vibe, since a lot of Christians, most Christians that I know actually don't watch horror films? Or is this film meant to bring in non-Christians and then give them the gospel message? If it's the latter, I think it was too heavy-handed. It's talking about very, very heavy things that we as Christians believe, right? And even if you're not a Christian, please listen to the negative so you at least know what you're getting into with this movie. And the sermon is kind of just gonna be intertwined with this. But if you're not a Christian, man, and you don't believe in the biblical worldview, this movie kind of like throws it at you like, hey, this is what, you know, we believe, and we want you to believe the same things. So to know your audience, right? Because if you think you're just going into a movie and you think that you're just trying to escape and get entertained, it can seem very preachy, and it can be like, I can see how someone would be like, man, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted to see a scary movie. It really is a bait and switch. I think, you know, there's a good idea of luring people in, but also let them know what they're getting. And you can subvert expectations, but still deliver a good product. And that gets into the next negative. Like I said, this movie was a lot better in concept than it was in execution. It was a very, very dialogue-driven movie, and it could have been better dialogue. It should have been. There's a lot of good scenes, but they just weren't as good as they could have been. There was more, and I'm like, you can make the demon creepier. You can, without making it horror, without making it scary, you can make it uneasy. There was at no point in this movie that I felt like the demon was dangerous, right? Like, It was like, yeah, he's definitely not a nice guy, for sure, but he didn't feel like it was pure evil. It was just like, man, that dude's not a nice person, but it didn't feel like evil, right? And I felt like if you're going to portray a demon, it should feel that way. People should be aware that this entity is in fact evil and dangerous. Now, it did do a lot of good things of explaining how I believe demons operate. Like, they're a lot more subtle, you know? And I think that makes sense because a lot of Christians, they'll say things like, oh, the devil's a toothless lion and he can't hurt you. No, the devil's been around for as long as there's been people, and the demons have been around for as long, since there was 2 people on planet Earth. They've been around and they've been manipulating mankind since. These creatures, these entities, have spent all of human history learning how to mess with you in particular. They know how to tempt you, they know how to do this. And he even said, he's like, when like the entity, he's like, when I'm not possessing him, I'm studying you. And he was like, I'm learning your weaknesses, I'm learning your flaws, I'm learning what makes you tick, learning how to manipulate you, how to tempt you, how to get you where I want you to be. Now that I actually thought was good. I should have put that in my positive, so I apologize about that. It was too on the nose. They put the message ahead of the story. And I think that's where this movie falls short, is it really needs to know what it wants to be. Do you want to be a movie that says, hey, demons are real and you should be aware of demons and the stuff going on in our culture is demonic? Or do you want to tell a good story that has an underlying message? And I think you can do both. It's storytelling 101. Show me, don't tell me. It is a slow burn. It's very conversationally driven. Yeah, it can be a slow burn. But I mean, I knew what I was getting into, so that was good. But if you don't know what you're getting into, man, it's gonna be hard. So like I said, my sermon was gonna be kind of mixed in there of how Christians, we need to decide, are we gonna tell good stories? And I believe we can do that, right? Because a lot of these movies that are made through Christian lens, it's tell, we don't show. But in this medium, it's a movie. We're showing things on the screen. Show me why Christ is the right way. Don't tell me why. Show me why this thing is evil and this political issue is evil, and the things that it's saying in the movie I definitely agree with, but show me why that's bad. Just don't tell me, right? And I think that as Christian storytellers, they need to learn how to do better. So my final rating, I'm actually gonna give it 2 different ratings today. For a Christian audience, if you are a Christian and you want to go see this movie, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5. I think you're actually going to enjoy it. I think you're going to enjoy what you see, how things operate, and then the plan that the demon lays out, and then what happens at the end of the film. I think Christians will enjoy this a lot. If you are not a Christian, my final rating is going to be a 2 out of 5. As a work of art, it didn't deliver where it could have. Like I said, it was much better in concept than it was in execution. Even the falling action, like, it's just talking, and I'm like, I don't care about this. I don't care about our main character. I don't care what happened. The one character I did care about, I didn't get what I wanted from him. So, like I said, done much better in execution, or I'm sorry, done much better in concept than in execution. So for Christians, 3 out of 5. For non-Christians, man, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. I just gotta be objective. As a work of art, much better in concept than in execution, but I do think Christian movies are heading in the right direction. So that is what I have to say, man. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the movie Nefarious. Did you think it was good? Did you think it was not good? Are Christian movies getting better, or do they hammer a little too much on telling you the message instead of showing you the message? Let me know down below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. That helps out the channel tremendously. We want to get this message out to other people, so please help this channel out, help this ministry out, and yeah, man, remember, I love you, Jesus loves you. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. See you guys.